Welcome to Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we are joined by Paul Koretz. He is a member of the Los Angeles City Council, recently appointed to the Metropolitan Water District by Mayor Garcetti, which is the authority that oversees, isn't essentially all water that comes through the city of Los Angeles? Is that right?
Well, not local water.
Explain.
But the water that we buy from
The Colorado
Northern
River?
California. What I actually want to see us do is become a little less dependent on Metropolitan Water District sources, but maybe have them even do some of the financing and partner with us on building up our local resources. Everything from recycling of wastewater, which we do a fair job. We recycle less than 10%. Israel's almost at 90%. So we see what the state of the art is. We have a polluted local aquifer in the San Fernando Valley. If we clean that up and put recycled water into it, we could use a lot of that water as local water.
What's interesting, though, is Los Angeles and Southern California is seen as actually a bright spot during this drought. I read that LA uses less water now than it did 40 years ago, and it has 1 million more people. So we're on the right path. That doesn't mean we can be complacent. So where do we go from here? We have storage. You want to look at recycling.
Well, and we've done a great job on conservation, and there are higher tech ways to do more conservation. So we'll continue that. But we need to clean up all of our wells and wastewater. We need to figure out how to do some stormwater capture, of which we do very little. I mean, there's so many different pieces, but if we maximize all of our local water sources, rainwater capture on site in some of the buildings, we can eliminate as much of the need as we need to for water from other sources.
Right.
And those sources are drying up gradually. So,
as you know, there hopefully will be, I mean, for those that are supportive of this, a bond measure on the ballot in November dealing with water. It was supposed to be on the ballot 2 years ago and then 4 years before that. If the bond measure does make it to the ballot, we don't know what it will look like right now because there are attempts to change its configuration. Will we be able to access some funds in ways that you would like to see, creating recycling opportunities, stormwater capture, et cetera?
I would like to see, personally, all of that money go towards maximizing our local water sources. And we are also looking at building a large water project that would bring more water from Northern California.
Right. The Bay Delta, is that what
yes.
Yeah, Bay Delta Conservation Plan.
Now, I'm not
project.
so sure whether we really need that to get enough water in LA. I think it may be a way for other places to get water that don't have local resources that they can work the way we can, and for us to pay for it. What I want to be sure is that we maximize our local resources first, maybe even look at desalinization, which Israel has used along with recycling and everything else to eliminate their water shortage problem that the region has had for thousands of years.
But it can be expensive. I mean, the startup costs for desalinization, you know, are quite high.
Yes.
So would that be part of a bond?
It could be. I mean, I don't know how this will turn out.
No one does.
But I would like to, with the exception of desal, which is more controversial because it's very expensive, and there's environmental impacts, but new technology is lessening those. The rest of it, I think we should spend every dollar on conservation and recycling and stormwater, and I think we can solve our problems.
We'll see what happens. He's Paul Koretz, member of the Los Angeles City Council. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Time Warner Cable's local edition.